Yo, 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 what is up? It is Cloverdale, and we are back today. I'm showing you the project file for this one. It's mine and DJ Susan's track, Welcome to the Jungle, supported by all kinds of people. It was kind of a hit last year-ish. Anyways, you guys been asking for it. Stoked to show you how this one came together. Little backstory, Susie and I were chatting. We wrote this track for fun, complete fun. He was like, man, we got to do something epic for the two of us. What about Welcome to the Jungle? I was like, holy shit, let's go. Let's try and do this. The initial idea, I kind of just was like messing around. The initial idea kind of only took me a couple hours to get done. And then Susie and I jumped on a Zoom session together. And then we kind of wrapped the whole thing up in like a couple quick sessions. It really didn't take very long at all. I'm going to say maybe like 4 or 5 hours total. So let's see what's under the hood, and I'll explain how we did it and how we did it that quickly as well. So a lot of what makes this remix a great remix from the get-go is it already lends itself super well to the tech house format. And what I mean by that is it has a build-up already built into it. And so like the Welcome to the Jungle track, you all know it. And it builds so well, and then has this moment right here. And then it kind of cuts into this guitar riff that goes. So I was like, wow, if it just kind of cuts right into that, why don't we try and like nick that melody riff and use that as the bass line of the song. And so that was kind of the first thing that I did, trying to stuck the song in there, said, all right, that's going to work. Luckily the BPM of the song was I think it was already around 126, 127. So it was already lending itself so well for house music. So then I was like, okay, what's the quickest and easiest way for me to get that guitar riff into the bass? And I'm not super good with my ears, so I just went to Google and I Googled Welcome to the Jungle MIDI, and then I found this one, or I don't even know if it was this one. I found one of them, downloaded it, and it actually came with all kinds of different tracks. So I dragged that in, and it came with the guitar track, the bass track, the vocal track. It came with all this stuff, which was so useful for me. So honestly, this is what I did. I took the guitar riff right here, copied it, and pasted it right in there. And the guitar became my main bass line. So this is the main bass line of the remix, or it's kind of the intro section. The bass line is up here, but it's doing the same thing. And they're kind of just both doing the same pattern, following in that groove, and it's exactly the same as the song. The bass here, I can break that down. Is Diva. Nothing too overcomplicated with this Diva patch. It's a preset. Bass, snappy bass 4, love it. But really, just something real clean, simple, and just rocking that. Actually, you know what, guys? I think, let's go back for a second. Oh yeah, look, the bass line is actually also from here as well, but just from a later part of the MIDI pack. Hilarious. And you could do that with these old famous songs, because the MIDI's gonna be out there. A good way to think about it is, cell phone ringtones that we used to have in the 2000s and whatnot. You might be too young to remember these little pingy. They were just MIDI files. So if it was a big tune back in the day and you had your old flip phone and a cell phone ringtone, that's just a MIDI file. And if that exists, someone's probably converted it out there and you can download it. The rest of the tracks, we got that. It's running through some EQ, some saturation, some Saturn there, a little bit more OTT, a bunch more EQ, more saturation. And the reason why there's all these EQs is because as I'm working on my track, I'm, just be like, hey, you know what? I like how this is sounding right now. I don't really want to mess this up. I'm going to add another EQ, duck out, maybe some problematic frequencies. Then I add some other things. And instead of messing up what I've already had that I kind of like, and I'm getting closer, I'll just add another EQ on afterwards. Kick drum isn't overly complicated. I'm compressing it a little bit just to kind of like tame some of the tail on it. But that's about it. So bassline, kick. I can break down all the elements in the drum groove. This is a main hi-hat that I use pretty often. Got some loops that are just shaking around. This one, and any either loops or constant patterns that are adding into my track, I'm often sidechaining them to my other elements in the track. So this one is being sidechained to the other hi-hat because it also contains a bunch of high-end frequencies, and so it's ducking out with the hi-hat because it also contains a bunch of high-end frequencies. I'm having them interplay within each other. This one's also ducking with the kick a little bit because it has, I think without it, there's a bit of a kick in there. So I'm just trying to duck out that talk. Just ducking that out a little bit. And another little mid-range perk. I've always just think high-end stuff, mid-range stuff, drums. Try and have some else, you want to have the shakers, you want to have the mid-range like snares and claps and perks, bongos, that's all the mid-range stuff. And then you want to have, your main hi-hat and main claps and stuff. This is another loop. And it's important to note here that this one, we're doing the beats mode trick. And so it's kind of chopping it all up, each transient, so it's getting all snappy. Clap group. Just 2 claps. This one I think is a little wider, softer. Quite a wide clap. And this one, not as wide. Together, big wide clap. This here I think is a little accent hi-hat. And some more shakers. Oh, plus classic 909. If you add a 909 hi-hat into your track, it immediately just makes it house music. It's now officially house music. And then all together, that whole drum groove, the bass line, and this little lead bit. That's it. All sounds like this. And you know what? If I had written this song today, or if Susie and I had written this song today, there's a couple little bits that I might have changed. This loop in particular, I find, is a little loud and maybe a little harsh, And so maybe I might have gone in and ducked out some of the high end on it and maybe turned it down. I don't know. If I wrote this again, maybe that's how I would do it. The remastered version coming soon. And that just goes to show that, like, you know what? Nobody's ever like happy with their final tracks. Always, there's every single one of my songs that I've put out there. There's probably bits of it that I would say I'm not super stoked with, super happy with. Okay. Other than that, the main things in this, we have this other stab bit that just does and that's just a sample that I kind of chopped up. It's all running through this light sidechain bus at the top, so it's ducking a little bit. But other than that, I have some other lead layers that kind of come in. So I have this one, the main one, then a higher pitched one, and then this one is even higher. And they all kind of come in. Then this other sort of stringy sound. And that is the bulk of it, guys. It really isn't an overly complicated song. Things are just, moving forward. I have these sweeps that I kind of add into all my tracks. And it sweeps from one. And then I found a version that had isolated. It was like vocals and drums, and so it was just I just scoured the internet for this version. We got fun and games. And these little bits kind of chop in and out here and there. And all those reverb, sidechain, EQ'd and whatnot, and. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. You know, and I wish there was more to it, folks. I wish there was, but there really isn't. You know, I think there's other this little bit. I just took a little lick of the guitar and added a ton of delay to it. That's it. That is like probably the most iconic part of the whole song. You can hear it right here, actually. Welcome to the jungle. So simple. That's it. That's like the whole track. And then it goes into this breakdown bit. And then the second drop, I think the only difference is it has this big obnoxious lead, which is it's like, I don't know. It's dumb, overly distorted lead that just pitch rises up. There's nothing even fancy about it. This thing, let's listen. There's 2 layers. This one. Yeah. But it's just a preset that sounded kind of cool, and then I literally added a pitch bend. That's about it. Pitch bend, a little bit of fading, and grouping it together. A little bit more fading out in volume. Automating volume all the time. It's a straightforward track, folks. It is not overly complicated. There aren't many producer secrets in here. I think one thing that is interesting to note, and let's take a look at this here before we wrap up. The intro of the track, instead of me just instead of us just starting here and having the track start here, you want to make sure that it still kind of fits on a grid really nicely. So see how this, we have 8 bars there, another 8 bars there, another 8 bars there. And then it drops right from our intro, because I have this whole drum intro here. So what I did to kind of make up for this space, because this doesn't even start, right on. The timing of this whole intro is kind of weird. And so this is starting at sort of a random time. But I added this other section, which just has that guitar bit. And I just delayed it out tons. Same thing here. This is just another bit. And I just delayed it out tons. And then the other song comes in there. So. So, kind of got all that to work, and then it just builds. There's not much else going on there. I think there's maybe some reverb that comes on. That's it. Yeah, just some reverb. And then a little sweep there, and that's the whole intro. There's nothing else to it. A string in the background to kind of keep the tension throughout all this stuff. Classic. Oh yeah, love it. But yeah, I think my overall tips and advice here is, if you're going to be remixing something like this, try and keep it simple. Try and find songs that lend themselves super well to be remixed. I've done a bunch of sort of rock and classic rock remixes by now, and there are so many songs where it's just really hard to find something that is going to have sort of moments either where the vocals are isolated, or moments that work really well building up, or moments that are arranged really well, because a lot of times the arrangements of some of those songs are completely different than what we're used to in house music. So just try to find songs that really lend themselves well to be remixed. This one was honestly, it really just worked out super, super well. This other breakdown even worked really well too. It was just sort of the drums bit that I kept it through. Delayed out the guitar.
You know where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. You're gonna die.
And this bit actually kind of goes into this other section here. And I didn't want it to do that. I wanted to kind of build back up into the first build up. In the jungle, welcome. So I didn't really want to include that. I kind of just wanted the first build up. So that's all we did here. So that kind of comes back in. Oh yeah, CPU. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed this brief but hopefully informative breakdown of Welcome to the Jungle. I think we're actually going to try and sell this project file. So stay tuned. I'm going to update the description below when and if that has happened. So just check the description right now. And if it says this project file is available for sale, then it is. If you would like to book a one-on-one Ableton session with me, you can do so also via the link in the description. Make sure you like and subscribe my videos. I'm going to be trying to push these out as often as I can. As well, High Octane Tech House Drum Kit is available at vibrancylabel.com. Grab that one. I would love your support. And I heard a rumor that maybe if you're watching this in the future, there will be a Basslines sample pack. So that should be, watch out for that dropping real soon. If not, already out now, because, you're watching it in the future. Once again, my name is Cloverdale. Hope you guys have learned lots. We will talk to you soon. Peace. Bye.